Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Vobes show on the 7th of April 2020. It's just coming up to 8 o'clock. I'm a little earlier than normal, but I hope that hasn't surprised you too much and caught you with your fingers in the till. Lovely to see you, but people were basically sitting there in the chat room, twiddling their thumbs, drumming on the table, thinking, well, I wonder what's on the Vobes show today. Well, I can tell you, it's pretty much the same as it is every day, which is reassuring after all. Let's find out who is out there in the Vobosphere to welcome on board. So we'll just go and grab the old... Where's the mouse gone? I can never find the sodding mouse. Here it is. I found the mouse. It's all right. We have Barbara Charles, Barry Stevens, David Chamberlain, Ed Loud, History's Taught Us, the lovely Julia, Laura Riddle, Les Jarvis, Linda Kane, Nigel Sadler, Peter May, Philip Hammond, Steve G, Stephen Gully, and Tracy Murphy. And I'm sure other people will arrive when they've realised that we've already started, which is lovely to see you. Thank you very much for coming by. 6 likes already, which is fantastic. When I last looked on the Bald Explorer pages, we were 50 subscriptions away from 10,000. That's rather remarkable. In less than 3 years, working at this every day, one way or another, putting up a video, and in recent times, several videos, we have got nearly up to 10,000 subscribers. It's going to be exciting when we actually hit that. It could possibly be in the next few days, maybe before the weekend, if we're very lucky. So if you haven't subscribed to the Bald Explorer, please do, because it would be fantastic if you did. And thank you very much for coming along each day in the evenings, supporting the Vobe show. It's lovely to see you. Of course, couldn't do this without you coming along and interacting. And I was thinking about this only earlier today. I thought, surely people must be a bit bored of all this nonsense that we get up to. But of course, the minute that the curfew has been lifted, I dare say I won't see you for dust. You'll all be out and about in the evenings, going to restaurants and the cinema and all those sort of things. And I wouldn't blame you at all. Wendy Lowry says, hi, Richard. Carl Osborne, good evening to you. Paul Smith, good evening. Very nice of you to see. Bloody hell, Richard. Your vocal cords must be cream crackered. Best from the Madrid. Best from Madrid. Yes, I think they are. I know, I was thinking, you know that sort of thing when you see somebody too many times, overexposure, I think they call it. There may be a little bit of that, I think. People may be getting a bit weary. Or weary of me. Roy Ballinger says, good evening. Peter May says, Barry looks like he didn't have time to go for a wee before the show was about live. Oh, sorry about that, Barry. What's in the glass, Richard? Oh, yes, tonight in the glass is a little bit of orange juice and pineapple, I think it is. Something like that. I don't normally drink pineapple, but it was some squash that I discovered on my shelf, and I think the lovely Julia bought it about 6 months ago, probably, when we were having lunch at my place, and we'd been to Morrison's, and she bought some squash, and I kept thinking that it was my son Billy's for ages. I thought, oh, that looks nice glass of that, and so sorry, my back is just twinging me now. It's been all right, and now it's just twinging me. By the way, whoever told me to take ibuprofen, I want to have a word with you. I've had nothing but running to the squits ever since I've taken the ibuprofen. Thank you. My whole bowels have just caved in, and I've been dashing upstairs. And I tell you, it stinks in there now, so don't go and use that room for a while. Audio Forbes Hamilton. So sorry, lowered the tone already. Welcome to you. Nice to see you. Barry Stevens. That's what I thought, Peter. Must be bad. Yes. No. I'm recycling it. You see, it goes in one end, comes out the other. New Start 19. Hi, Voby. Hello to you. Nice to see you, New Start 19. Andrew Murphy. I won't desert you, Richard. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. We love our moments of Murphy. Steve Pilfold said it's nice to drive back from Crawley to home with no traffic, but also nice seeing all the families taking their exercise together. Ah, that's good. And Morton Lewis says, I was watching you months ago. Will watch you after this is finished. Oh, you're very kind. I was thinking, my stuff because of the it's not just the coronavirus business, but because of the output, it's definitely slacking. I've looked at my stuff compared to other stuff where I have nice cutaways and more time to spend on it. It is a little bit shoved together rather rapidly. But then I think one has to be fairly flexible to adopt to the situation, rather to keep pumping stuff out and keeping people amused than spending too long putting something together that's over in 5 minutes and never viewed again. Have you been having an Earther kit? Yes, I think if that's what it's called, that's what I've had. Philip Hammond says, I did tell you, Richard. Did you? I obviously didn't take heed. Where in Sussex is going, uh-oh, too much information. Yes, that's it. A nuclear fallout zone at Vobes Towers. Yes, luckily, Billy and Sharifa are barricaded in their room and they won't be needing that little small room, I don't think. Les Jervis says, when it's all over, Richard, I do think we will still be here. Let's hope so. That would be nice, that you won't all suddenly desert me. But you know what it's like. Somebody else will come. Another bright, shiny object will come along. Ed Loud says, does ibuprofen do that? Well, I think it did that with me because I don't take ibuprofen very often. Paracetamol from time to time. Ibuprofen, never really liked the stuff, to be honest with you. Ricky Bryan says, I use CBD oil for my back pain. CBD, I've never heard of it. Do you know, I was recommended by the lovely Anne Osborne dog oil. They used to rub it in on the whippets joints, apparently. I don't know if Dave Ford's out there and he's heard of it. Dog oil. Absolutely crazy stuff. Chris Venables, hi Richard. Need some Essie cooking. Yes, I think I'm going to be cooking on the Essie fairly soon. Of course, with all this hot weather, lighting the Essie earlier makes you a bit warmer in the kitchen. That's the only thing. Dave Baker says, good evening, Richard. Kevin's Rambles. Richard, did you find the walking the plank video that someone asked you to show again? I have got it, but I haven't got it in here. And I need to actually, that you have reminded me about the Facebook thing. Yes, hang on. Let me just go into my Facebook thing because I've been meaning to do this for ages. There is a bit of paper. Dawn and John. I don't know if Dawn and John are out there. Ow. Sorry, I can't move. There's a bit of paper that fell on the floor, which I can't actually pick up at the moment. I'm getting the odd shooting pain, which is rather irritating. I do have a cushion. Ouch. I do have a cushion behind me. I've been all right most of the day today. A little bit of agony. Just a little bit of agony from time to time. Now, I want to quickly find this, and I want to get this done and played it. By the way, there was a couple of videos that I meant to play yesterday. Elaine Brazier has sent one in, and Naomi Corrin also sent one in, and I didn't get to play that a couple of days ago. And I'm just trying to see if Naomi is out there. Maybe she watches on the playback, but I wanted to make sure that everybody who sends me something gets in. And is Robert Croser out there? I don't think Robert Croser's out there, but Robert Croser, you sent me another video, but there's so much wind in it, it's just almost illegible. And didn't he only the other day say that he was doing something that he was saying that he manages to get rid of the wind? I don't know that he was doing. And Barry also sent in some ideas for cooking some stuff, which I still have, and yet I haven't yet done. You sent that in a couple of weeks ago. And if Mark Donny McLeod is out there, we still want the recipe for the bread, because I think Kevin suggested that he was going to have a go at making that, and I want to go and have a make of it because I've got that flour. So there's lots of things to be doing. Right, let me just get into, I don't know where it is now. I think it's, let's have a look. Sorry about this. I'm going to try and find it. Well, I could show you a video whilst I go. No, because I know what happens if I play anything in here. What tends to happen is that it makes the noise, doesn't it? So I'm just looking for these videos. Here we go. So let me just see if I...
Hey Dawn, she's going to do a bit of hula hooping.
Now you can't see that yet. The only way... Now, do you remember I said that these two lovely people met me on their bikes? They went past my house. I was sitting outside reading a book, minding my own business, and they went, Richard! And it was Dawn and John. And they said they did hula hooping. And they said, I said, oh, really? I don't believe you. And they said, we do. We'll send you a video. But they sent it to me on Facebook. And I can't work out how to get it off Facebook and onto this system. So instead, what I'm going to do, the simplest thing, is to show you the video via the laptop. Via the webcam. So hopefully you can hear this. Let's see. This is Dawn on the hula hoop.
There we go. Look at that. Look at that.
This is the way to get your waist down.
Oh yeah, very clever. Up.
So that's quite impressive, isn't it? I think that is very impressive.
Round as well.
Now's the difficult part, going the other way. Ah, I made it.
Well done.
And notice that's all done in front of the
Thank
arch
you.
window.
Lovely Dawn.
All in front of the arch window. There we are. Now, in front of the round window, this will be John doing the same thing.
He's the expert at doing this.
Look at that. No trouble whatsoever. Love the snazzy outfits that go with it.
Wow.
Now we go round, walking around the garden.
Walk around the garden like a teddy bear. Wow.
And we'll finish up with a little dance. There you go.
It's going to finish up with a little dance, I don't know if you heard that.
Can't really go fast enough.
Come on, get it wet. Get it.
Mother ground. Knees up, mother ground. Under the table you must go. Hey!
There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Give them a big round of applause. Absolutely amazing. Fantastic. Superb. Transmentacuperistic, as they say in some parts of the world. Not my parts of the world. So, yes. Marvellous stuff. Phew. Well done. And thank you so much for bringing that in, or giving it over. We managed to get it on there. Sometimes it does take me a little bit of time, and I do apologise for that. Great. Well, we've got lots of videos to play in again, and we can go to the phone calls as well. I'm going to play in the first video of our official day. Our official evening. Sorry, I'm just fighting the pain, this weird stabbing pain. I'm quite mobile. It's a slightly different pain tonight than the usual pain, so I don't know what's going on. I feel like that actually from here down has been chopped off, and I've been just put into a bath of tin tacks. Yeah, there's something to do, isn't it? Right, so let's have a look in the old video box and see who is there. I wish I wouldn't press this button too many times. There we go. Okay, we got some great videos in, but I'm going to play in the ones that we were supposed to play in the other day. This is from Naomi Corrin. I don't think if Naomi's actually out there. I've not seen her name, but if you are, thank you for sending this in, and I apologise for not getting it played earlier. And if I remember rightly, you're going a walk on Ashdown Forest, if I remember rightly.
Hello, Vobes Show. Just going to go for a walk on Ashdown Forest.
This my excavation to days cool.
And there we go. How about that? Fantastic. Love the. I love the setting there. It looks very dry. It certainly looks very dry. Did you film that last in the autumn? That's what I want to know. Did you film that in? Oh, actually, now that we've come out of that, let me just come back to the show for a second. We can bung the phone number on there. Yeah, was that filmed in the autumn? And a great shot of the bee there. And of course, I was looking at your shoes, thinking, I wonder if they are Converses. They look like Converses. Anyway, fantastic. Thank you very much for showing that, sending that in. Superb, very nice. And did I see that you were there? Because Julia just said, is it pronounced Naomi or Naomi? I never quite know how you pronounce some certain names. So always interested to know that. Awesome, says the lovely Julia. And it looks lovely, very good, fantastic song and beautiful video. There we are, that's Lara saying that, superb, that was lovely, well done, Naomi. It's pronounced, Naomi, brilliant. Thank you very much, Naomi, got to get it right. If anyone wants to call on the Vobes this evening, you're very welcome. The number is 0793 4746790. Unless you're going to prank the call and be an idiot, then we'd rather not. We did have a caller this afternoon who tried to prank the show, and I just gave out their telephone number so they could get lots of prank calls themselves. So that's what tends to happen here. The caller's number will come up. If you're a private number, chances are I won't answer. So if it comes up as a private number, then I don't know, because here we go. Let's see. Oh, it's not a private number. We'll find out who's calling the old Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi on the show tonight. Hello, who's there?
It's the only person that could lower the tone of the show.
Oh, marvellous. It's Kevin Hall, ladies and gentlemen. What I need is a nice applause for when people ring up. How are you, Kevin?
I'm okay, Richard. How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm very good. Apart from this slight stabbing pain that I have, I'm sitting in a bowl of piranha at the moment.
Excellent.
Yeah, nice.
Different to sitting on a bollard, then.
Yeah, I was on a bollard this morning. That comes out in tomorrow's video when I tried this morning to go for a walk and I seized up completely.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a bit annoying because a police car came by and they said, lie down, you're supposed to be a sleeping policeman.
Ha ha.
And I was so seized I couldn't move. They said, you're not allowed to stop. You can exercise, run, cycle, but you're not allowed to pause for a moment. So, no, actually.
The best thing you need, though, is when you speak to people on the phone is that they don't make you laugh.
They don't make you laugh. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Please,
whatever you do at this precise moment, laughing irritates the pulled muscle down there in the coccyx.
Yes. As it did earlier on.
Yes, Mr. Hall did actually ring me up. And then he threatened, didn't you? You did threaten to... And here you are.
Here I am.
Here you are.
And when you told me that you got stuck halfway on your walk, and
yes.
you said you were sitting on a bollard, and I started laughing.
Yes, you did.
And I had to put my hand across my mouth. Yes. But it made you laugh because you were saying you were pleading with me. Don't make me laugh.
Yes, I was pleading with you.
Yes.
But I'm not now. You see, because I'm a bit more prepared.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
It's the way you're sitting.
It is actually the way I'm sitting. You can't see how I have been strapped into this chair.
Ah, you're strapped, are you?
I can't move from it. I daren't move. Yeah. Apparently the film, Onomi's just put up there, the film that I said, was it filmed in the autumn, was actually last Sunday. It looked very dry, didn't it? It looked very dry.
It did look very dry, but a lovely film.
Lovely film.
Yeah, absolutely super. They did a great job on that.
Nice golden brown look to it. It's sort of, like from yesteryear.
Yes.
And you know what a god-awful year it was yesteryear. Anyway, what can I do for you, young Kevin, ringing up and annoying me on the show?
Absolutely nothing. All I wanted to do was ring up and annoy you.
Fantastic. So what have you been up to today then, young man? How have you filled your 24 hours since this time yesterday?
Well, today I had to go to Hazelmere and pick up some paint for my house. Believe it or not, I am going to redecorate my bedroom.
You are a painter and decorator by trade, and just like me, you can't stop.
Exactly.
So you see, I mean, because Kevin said to me, "Oh, Richard, I think you're doing too much." He was being like my dad, He's like, "Oh, Richard, I don't think you should do the show. It's Kevin here. I don't think you should do the show. You're doing too much. You just won't stop. You've got to take it easy, Richard." And then exactly the same thing. What are you doing, painter and decorator, mister? Oh, I'm going to get some paint and decorate my house.
That's exactly what I am going to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
then after that, I went for a walk. But unfortunately, I went over the hour. I did an hour and 2 minutes.
Oh,
I know.
My goodness.
No, I know.
They'll be after you.
I was waiting for the forest police to come and get me.
I do think that you can dock the 2 minutes from tomorrow's walk and just do 58 minutes.
What I'll do is I'll walk a bit quicker.
Well, you could do that as well. Break into a sweat.
Yes. And then when I got back, I had some. I started preparing the bedroom for decorating tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I made a very rustic table.
You made a what?
It was a rustic table for my seating area at the bottom of the garden.
Oh, that's very nice. I'm glad. And then what did you do after that?
Nothing. I rung you up and annoyed you.
Oh, sorry. I just picked up my book. I thought I'd just have a quick moment there reading whilst you're gabbling on the show. All the exciting things. How you filled your day. How do we all fill our days?
I know.
That is the question. I mean, there are people that actually do go out to work. I mean, we do forget that. We all think that we're all sitting here twiddling our thumbs. But there are cars outside my road. I was sitting there twiddling my thumbs. And there were cars and there were vans and there were people. And I think, what we're on lockdown. Where are all these people going?
Yes, exactly right. In fact, the road from Minnes to Hazelmere was pretty quiet actually today.
Yeah, I bet if you looked in the old webcams, I've something I used to sit down, when webcams were a new thing, and you could log on to websites that showed the roads with the webcams. I logged on to the road to Devon. God, blimey, back to back with caravans, camper vans, people with big backpacks on their back. They're all going west. They're all going down to the campsites down there. They're getting out of London, out of the major cities. They're all going down to Cornwall.
Yeah, down the 303.
Down the 303, exactly. Yeah. Down into Cornwall to meet up with Mark. What's his name? What is his name? Selwood.
Selwood.
Mr. Selwood. He's
actually, I haven't seen him for 2 or 3 nights, have we?
No. Well, he works in the hospital, so
yeah.
Let's not. He's probably looking after Boris, to be honest with you.
It could be.
Or at least he's probably asking Boris for his car ticket.
Yes. We're going to keep the show coronavirus free tonight, Richard.
Oh! It's funny how all the viewers want to tell me how to run my show. Have you noticed that? They say, "Oh no, we can't talk about that." It's like, what do you mean? It's my show. I'll tell you what we're talking about.
I knew that would get you going.
Yeah. Cheeky beggar. Anyway, that's Kevin Hall, ladies and gentlemen. Set us up to a fine start.
Yes, it's only can get better.
Let's hope so. Anyway,
right,
lovely to talk to you. Take care.
And take care, Richard.
All the
bye,
best,
everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There we are. That's the sort of abuse you get when you call the Vobes. So nothing to be ashamed of. You're very welcome to call. But we're going to go to another video first of all. So let's get rid of that for the moment. And Lane Brazer sent in a video the other day, and I meant to put this in, and I genuinely forgot. There was a couple there, as you saw, Naomi's and Elaine's. Let me just switch to the special magic system here. Oh, sorry, I can't get out of it. Hang on. I do apologise. Very, very sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Sending you the wrong information. Where are you, Elaine? Where are you? Now, I put you on the system. You're definitely here. This is the Emerald Isle, I believe read by Elaine Brazer.
Dad, Dad, we would shout as we stood in line, waiting for him to place his cupped hands over our ears and levitate us with the hope and promise that we may catch a glimpse of County Cork, the home of the little people, those elusive leprechauns with their clocks of gold. Oh, but Jesus, he would say, never take your eyes off them. Needless to say, we never saw Cork or those little people. Ireland, the place of my father's birth. He would tell us stories of the Black and Tans, of the Holy Well, which nestled at the base of Lara Mountain. Coins thrown into the well by pilgrims would be retrieved and woodbines bought with the ill-gotten gains. Leaving his shoes in hedgerows, running barefoot over fields, catching trout with his hands, and tales of the castellated castle which stood on the banks of the river Blackwater, once owned by his family, the grand paintings, and Madame Polo, who rented and resided now in the ivy-clad castle. 10 minutes to debarkation, a voice announced over the tannoy. It was my first visit to the Emerald Isle. Gathering my belongings, making my way down to the car deck, glancing at my watch, it was nearing 11:30 p.m. I set off driving towards the west of Ireland through sleepy towns and villages. The wind howled as rain beat against the car windscreen. As daylight broke, I had reached my destination. Pulling into the farmyard, cows mooed, announcing my arrival. The red front door of the whitewashed thatched cottage with smoke gently wafting from the chimney opened. Standing there, a plump, rosy-cheeked lady in a starched white pinafore. She greeted me. The farmer's wife had sat up by the fire all night waiting on my pending arrival. On the stove, sizzling gently, bacon with eggs and white pudding, all of which was served with soda bread with lashings of butter washed down with tea, whilst I sat by the brightly burning peat fire. Leaving contented and refreshed, eager to explore, I drove to the Gap of Dunlow and chatted to locals. I inquired about the road to Killarney and the lakes. "'Tis over there, over that pass," one said. I looked up. The pass seemed to disappear into the clouds. "'Tis a shortcut, no need to go the long way round," said another. Setting off over the shortcut and relieved when eventually I caught sight of the lakes, continuing on and down into Killarney where jaunty carts carried tourists and streets were a hive of activity, where Irish music and Guinness flowed. Jaunty carts with horses contentedly eating oats from nosebags were tied up outside O'Brien's pub. Going in the dimly lit nicotine-stained bar and making my way through the thick clouds of cigarette smoke, passing the old flat-capped gentleman dancing an Irish jig, and making my way over to where the Jarvis sat. I inquire about a trip, negotiating a price, and with a spit and a shake of hands, the deal was done. A ride in a jaunty cart was mine. The Jarvey, Paddy, staggered over to his cot, the skewbald horse giving a snort in recognition. Paddy was helped up into the driving seat, and with a snap of the reins, the old horse moved off. Paddy began a commentary that soon petered out, intermingled with the horse's clip-clop as Paddy snoring as he slept contentedly and full of Guinness. The old horse knew where to go and plodded on over the land of my forefathers, Ireland. This very enchanting, beautiful Emerald Isle.
Hello. Just doing some exercises, some stretches there whilst we were away with Elaine. Thank you so much, Elaine. Much appreciated. Very beautifully read and wonderful images. I think that's more or less what everybody else was saying. How wonderful is that? And may good luck go with you wherever you go, and blessings outnumber the shamrocks that glow. How marvellous. A little bit of exercise there from the old Vobie one-eyed Kenobi. Which needs desperately to be done. And thank God for that. Anyway, if anybody wants to call the Vobes, you're very welcome on 07934746790. Have a little natter. You managed get a phone call from Kevin there, so that was it. We'll have another video shortly, just exercising the old back muscles, which will be very good. Thanks very much to everybody who sends in the videos, by the way. It is very kind of you. We wouldn't have such an exciting and remarkable show that is being viewed currently by 86 people across the globe. So there we are. Mardi Gras. Little bit of a stretch there just to keep the muscles going. So when the videos are on, just think of me dancing about, prancing, you might say, around the studio, keeping the place all occupied. Dean Cooper says that Ireland is a fantastic place to go. Much history there, along with wonderful countryside. I've never been to Ireland. I would like to go to Ireland, but I have never been. Maybe, probably won't be this year, but maybe next year now, we'll get a chance to go over there and do some explorations. That would be fantastic. Robert Baxter says, Richard, I had a slip disc in my neck and was in agony. Somebody gave me codeine and that did the trick. Oh, somebody's ringing my home phone number now for some reason in the other room. So I'll have to go and grab the phone from there in a minute and see who that was. The phone number to ring is 07934746790. They've rung off now, luckily. I just heard my home phone number go. It's always a worry when my phone goes off in the show because it often tells me it's somebody saying, "Hey, Richard, you've forgotten to do such and such," or the microphone's down, or it's not streaming properly, or you're not on air, or something like that. But here we go. Here it is. Here's the call we've been waiting for. Let's find out who this is. Ringing up the old Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi. Hello, caller.
Hi, Richard. It's Lara.
Hello, Lara. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. I'm in top spirits, apart from the little, problem with my back. Lara's in Bognor Regis, by the way, just to let the audience know, because they always want to know all that sort of exciting information.
Yeah.
So how's lockdown for Lara and Ricky?
It's okay. I've been working from home for about 3 weeks, so I'm getting a bit bored of these four walls.
Yes, I can imagine. Have you been out?
Yeah. Funnily enough, we went out today for a little walk around Aldwick and down to the beach.
Many people out?
Far too many.
Far too many. Far too many.
Yeah, definitely.
But were they? But when they say people are out, and you go, oh yeah, there's lots of people out. They're all out. They're all on a beach. Are they still though in their groups, socially distancing from each other?
Yes.
Yes.
But
oh.
I think that they wouldn't be out unless the government said because you can go out once a day. Everybody's making the most of going out once a day, whereas they wouldn't otherwise. So
what do you mean that ordinarily people would just stay in anyway, but because they've been limited, they're taking advantage. Well, they're making sure they have their quota of going out.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, which is fair enough. I mean, we may have a nation. I was thinking we may have a nation of much healthier people because they can't buy whatever they like all the time. And they may all be then going out much more, at least once a day, and having some exercise, whereas ordinarily they may not even go out.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't blame them. You can't blame them at all.
No. I mean, we were hearing on the news the other day, the media was, and various social media commentators and what have you, were saying, oh, look, in the parks in London and in the cities and all this, there's swathes of them. They're all over the place. People are
having
out.
Picnics and things.
Yes. And I had a slight debate with Mr. Hall earlier today, and he was saying exactly that. He said, oh, it's despicable. And I said, but are they sitting right next to each other? And he said, well, I haven't really seen the pictures. And I said, but in real life, in normal life, we don't just sit right on top of somebody. We generally like a bit of personal space anyway.
Yeah, that is true, very true. And even in supermarkets before all of this stuff,
yeah.
I didn't like people standing close to me in the queues or walking right past somebody. You just don't really do it, do you?
No. I mean, you can't blame people wanting to get out. I mean, I feel sorry for the families who are in flats in inner cities or urban areas who really just need to get out of the four walls. And there will be elderly people who can't keep moving, can't get on a bike or walk or walk a bit, but cycle, this so-called you're only supposed to be out for exercise. Why can't they stop and sit on a park bench? If there's nobody about, why can't they do that?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's good that people are making the most of getting a bit fit and healthy. I mean, you see runners that you've never seen run past your house before, but they've decided to take up running, so it's great.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think nobody wants anybody to suffer. Nobody, there might be the idiots out there. Of course, there's always going to be a very tiny, tiny little section of society who are just going to be stupid. But nobody really wants that. And most people will have a bit of common sense. And
hopefully.
And most people, anyway, seeing somebody get a bit close to you is going to back off anyway. Yeah. So what's Ricky up to?
He's still working, actually. So he's still going out every day.
What does he do?
He works at a restaurant, but at the university, so they haven't closed it.
Oh, right. So what people go... That's a bit weird, isn't it?
It is bizarre. It's really bizarre. Apparently, the restaurant at the university has a duty of care to the students that can't leave.
a C, right? Okay, that makes more sense then. So there's students, and I guess this must be the case up and down the country. I hadn't thought of this. Students, they've had the lockdown and they can't get home, so they're not wanted at home, and so they're stuck in their little dorms. And I know what these student accommodation is like because my son Stanley went to one, and they're tiny. The rooms aren't much. Some of them rooms aren't much bigger than a toilet.
No. Exactly. They are tiny little rooms, and all of the students at that university are catered students. So part of their halls package when they pay is to get food. And if they do leave, the university is not going to refund them their halls money. So I think a lot of them are staying on principle just to make the most of the money they've spent to live there.
Yes, and well, very wise, because I mean the parents may be out of work at the moment anyway. What we do, so many businesses unable to trade. Sorry, I'm just wriggling in the chair here to get this cushion in the small of my back. So Ricky's having to go in, and does he feel that this is quite dangerous for him?
Yeah, we're both quite concerned, actually, about his health, because I don't think that students think that they are as susceptible to the virus as others.
No.
I think a lot of young people are quite naive in the fact that they think that they're just immune to it.
Yes.
So they're sort of going out in groups and going and sitting
on
the beach together. Yeah. So I am, and Ricky are both concerned for his health a little bit.
Because, you know what students are like in these sort of places. When my son Stanley went to university, he got the nickname, for a short while, and I hope he's not watching, he got the nickname One Night Stan.
Oh.
And, you can work out what that means. And
I bet you were very proud.
I'm very proud of him, very proud. I mean, there's lots of little children running around. No, I mean, I was very jealous. No, it's just that's what students do. They're students, they're young, they're getting on with each other, they're discovering all sorts of parts of life. That's what it's all about. But no doubt that's probably still a thing.
Yeah, no doubtably, yeah.
With students. And so not only are they invading each other's spaces, they may be having parties, getting drunk together, doing more adult things together. And then while they might be relatively immune and just have colds and things, they obviously potentially could be spreading this far, far wider.
Yeah, they could be carrying it and not knowing it. So.
But I suppose that's all right if you then said, well, you can't leave the campus. If they could say, okay, you've got a campus and you've got a restaurant and you've got this and you've got lots of facilities, but we'll basically lock you all in so that whatever you've got, you cannot spread.
Yeah, absolutely. They could do that. The whole university's closed, though, so there's nobody to staff it or police it, so they would go out anyway.
Oh, my God. So there'll be all sorts of weird and wonderful things going on. There'll be smoking, goodness knows what. There'll be orgies.
Exactly.
There'll be...
Apparently there was a dog in halls last week, so...
Oh, what?
A dog.
Oh, a dog.
Yeah, and they're not allowed pets, but there was a dog there.
Yeah.
God knows what they're getting up to.
And I wonder how much... I mean, if this is just at, at Bognor... Is this at Bognor? Where is this?
Aldwick.
Aldwick.
Well, we're in Aldwick. The university's in Bognor.
Yeah, the university's in Bognor. So if that's just Bognor, think of all the other bigger universities up and down the countryside.
Yeah. Much worse.
Gosh. So, yeah, I mean, this is where, you get the daily briefing that they come out and then they stress at the end, stay at home. We want you to stay at home. And they're telling all those sensible people who've tuned in, who are worried about it and doing everything they can sensibly to be safe. But the one section of society who is not tuning in at 5 o'clock to hear the daily briefing from the government will be the students, because they're too busy having an orgy with a dog.
Yeah, I hope not.
Well, let's hope not. But students are very odd people. No disrespect to any students who happen to be watching and support the Vobes show. Of course.
I was a student nearly 3 years ago, so I kind of remember what it was like.
Exactly. I mean, and of course, I'm tarnishing them. I'm giving them the worst thing. But, that sounds a bit like Animal Farm at the moment. We've had 1984 upon us, And now with Big Brother and everybody watching us, now we've got Animal Farm in there because there's nobody policing what the students get up to.
No, and they've got a newfound freedom. The ones that live in halls, they're in their first year. They've got a newfound freedom, so they're just going to do whatever they like.
Mike, now I remember when Stanley used to tell me things. They used to put sofas in lifts and send the lift up and down to different floors.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I never went to university. I left school in 1979 with a basic certificate of education, and that was it. I've never done it. I'm proud that Stanley got into university and had that, but it does sound like there's a lot of hijinks going on.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Lara, so do you think you're going to cope, Lara, with any more of this?
I'm getting by. I think the walks are helping, definitely.
Yes.
I did do it on my walk today. I did film a little bit, so I might send that over to you for maybe tomorrow or the day after.
Fantastic. We look forward to that.
All right.
Yeah, lovely. Lovely jubbly mubbly fubbly, as they say in the trade.
Yes.
I don't know what
definitely.
trade that is, but it's a trade that they do say. Anyway,
The Vobes trade.
The Vobes trade, exactly. Thank you so much for enlightening us on the university life.
No problem.
And look after Ricky and make sure he doesn't get any nasty diseases.
I'll do my absolute best, don't you worry.
Top girl. Thank you very much, Lara.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Gosh, what about that? Thanks to Lara. There we are, enlightened on university life. Something I hadn't thought about. What do you think about that? Give us a call. 0793 4746 790 is the number. We've got more videos to get through yet, though. Let's go back and have a look and see what the world is saying out there in the Vobosphere. And Mark Donny McLeod says, Morrison's looked mad in Nelson today. I gave it a miss and went to another store, got some bargains plus some meds as well, and got a cycle 55 minutes there and back. Mark, can you send me the recipe and instructions for the bread you were talking about that I can use with my stone ground wheat? That would be, or corn or whatever it is, flour even. Thank you. Wesley Morgan says masks are only meant to be for health workers or those who have symptoms, those who are caring for people with symptoms. People probably feel like they are protecting themselves, though. Yes, I did hear that the report came out that if you've got the symptoms, masks help you from preventing other people getting them. But if you haven't got the symptoms, they don't really, I mean, they might protect you a small amount, but not in any, not a huge amount, just the general mask. That's what I heard. I may be wrong. Mr. Big says, yeah, I hope that those masks wouldn't have ended up somewhere more useful, like in a care home. I don't know how we got onto masks, but there we are. I obviously missed a bit. Dean Cooper says, some schools and colleges are still operating. I deliver goods in schools in Worthing for the kitchen. I hadn't thought about that because I guess these are I just thought the kids at schools were those kids from key workers, not university kids. Linda Kane says, they're saying that there'll be the largest number of entries for the Tour de France with the number of new cyclists. Yes, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, well, they'll have to do more than France. So perhaps they'll do the Tour de Europe, if assuming that the Europe is still a place that you can go to at the end of all this. One Night Stan says, Robert Croser, love it. By the way, Robert Croser, ouch, sudden stabbing pain there. Rather horrible. Trying to keep my face immobile so you can't see the agony and feel terribly bad for me. Robert Croser, you sent me a video which I did watch, but there's so much wind noise in it. It is almost difficult really to hear you. And I've had to make an executive decision and not show it tonight. I'm really sorry. I was hoping to show it because it was interesting, but there's just so much wind noise. You really need to look at your digestive system. Mike Stevens says, Richard, have you thought about using dead sea salts sprinkled into a warm bath and taking along salt? If you think I'm going to go to the Dead Sea, I'll have to charter an aeroplane to get there, wouldn't I? But it's a good idea. I dare say the supermarket near me might sell it. Mark Donny McLeod says the tour is off this year, last I heard. Yeah, well, maybe there'll be the amateur tour that takes only an hour every day. and people will be doing it as their exercise. As long as they've got the, what is it, the yellow jersey, is it? Or the blue jersey? I forget what colour it is. Richard Suggett wanted to ask, sorry, I missed that. How is Lara's rose plant? Is it going very well? And lots of Tour de France stuff. I had a similar nickname, says Robert Croser, in the day, trying to catch up with that. Oh, yes, I'm sure you did. Ed Loud says, I think they were only going with Stan to wiggle their way into getting on. What? I think they were only going with Stan to wiggle their way into getting on. Blast of trumpets and ticker tape. No idea what you're saying. Immense pain and agony in my... Ouch! I'm going to go to a video whilst I just saw my lower half off, if that's all right. Let's go and see who's in the video. And in the video tonight, we will go over... Let's have a nice sunny walk with the lovely Judith in Deal.
Morning everybody, just out for a morning walk in this lovely weather. It's absolutely beautiful today, and first time that I have not worn a coat when going out, so that's fantastic. Just walking along a footpath down to the sea, which is about 15 minutes walk from my house. I'm currently walking down the side of Walmer Castle, and it's beautiful. So this is the seafront, Walmer Castle behind the trees there. A few people out walking and running this morning. And that's looking up towards Kingsdown, where I'm going to walk to in a minute. And this is just where I've come from. Beautiful day. So I've just got to the top of the hill, looking over towards the Deal to Dover Road. Wimmill in the distance. Interesting looking tree stuck in the middle of that field. Beautiful scenery. Hi everyone, that's my walk done for today. Just come off the footpath actually, just to have a sit down and have a last minute look at the landscape before getting back indoors. I shall show you where I'm sitting. Probably can't see it on the video, but there is the sea just behind that line of trees in the distance. And looking now over towards Kingsdown. There's a few walkers down there on the footpath. Right on the top of the hill over there's that single lonely tree. Probably can't see it very well. Can't zoom in. And views over there towards a place called Ringwold. But it's just a beautiful view. And a beautiful day. And that's it for now. Bye all.
And there we go. Straight out of that, caught me rubbing the small of my back there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm probably going to go and stick some deep heat on it in a second on the next video. But I'll be all right. I don't want you to worry. I am okay. It's just every now and again there's this little twinge of agony, which just sends my eyeballs shooting in two different directions, which is quite funny. If they hit the side of my head too hard, they pop out of my ears. Mark Donny McLeod is talking about the recipe. I've just lost it. He says, cool, I need to do the make of it and send it to Richard, who does a live there. How about that? Not quite sure what you mean by that, but sounds great. I shall have the recipe ready for anybody who wants to make it with us. Oh, right, so we could have a day where we're making this bread. I don't know how I'm going to cook it. I could have, in the evening, I could have the essie, so we could knead it up. He says it takes about 45 minutes in the essie, so we probably need to have it pre-made and show it at the beginning of the show, shove it in the essie, and then bring it out at the end of the show and then try it. This is the bread, I'm assuming. And I could do a video of the kneading of it, play it in, and then show the finished, proven bit of stuff at the beginning of the show, bung it in the essie, do the show videos, whatever, and then bring it out, and then there is the bread ready for us to try on the show. How about that? So that could work. Where was Mike? Mike said, Richard, if the Dead Sea is too far to go, you can always go to Epsom and use their salts. Yes, Epsom salts is very nice. That's another spa town, isn't it, Epsom, which is very good. When I had the Chalfonts, I used a rubber ring to sit on. Oh, I don't know what the Chalfonts are, but let's not worry too much about that. Right, let's get out of there. Before we go for another call, I'm going to go and find some deep heat. But whilst I do that, I do believe we've got coming up in tonight's show, we have the Andrew Norris moment, and it is well worth waiting for. So please don't go away. We've got the Andrew Norris moment, which is really funny. Andrew is an absolute, what's the word I'm looking for? Master of the humorous video at the moment. So that's been really good. Barry Stevens has been out and about at Selborne, to an area that I've not been to before, which looks really good. And he's out with his son Faden, and they've got some nice footage of the area. So let's catch up with Barry Stevens and Faden.
Hello everybody, today we are having a walk around Selborne. First we are right next to a church at the moment.
Yeah, this is Selborne Church. This is Barry Stevens and Faden, by the way. We'll give you a few more videos as we go on. Bye bye. This part of the walk is called Church Meadow, the glebe field. It's a National Trust property. It's a very pretty, like a meadow.
It looks like the hill's very steep as well.
It is quite steep, especially when you're walking back up it. Anyway, see you later. Hello again. We're now at the bottom of that hill you just saw. We're down by a stream called Oakhanger Stream, which is very picturesque. I'd just like to add, this is where Gilbert White, the famous naturalist, came and did a lot of his studies.
It's not that deep, it's only like about that deep on my stick.
It's only a few inches deep. Anyway, get back to you soon. I'd just like to show you this part of Selborne Common. I find it very beautiful. Hopefully you can hear the birds singing. It's almost like a picture in a Victorian storybook. You can almost imagine the wee fae folk playing.
Yeah, I hope you can hear the birds. It's like they're making very nice songs together.
They are. I'll see you in a moment. Just like to show you this bit. It's the other end of Leith Woods. It's a nice little lake. It's very beautiful. It has some Canadian geese over there. It's a beautiful area. It's a lovely breeze. Anyway, I'll see you in a moment. Okay, I thought I'd finish the video here. It's getting on a little bit now. Some nice horses. Friendly horses. And I'll leave you with this view. Bye bye, take care.
There we go. Thank you so much, Barry. Fascinating area of Selborne there, Selborne Common. Got to go down there and have a look. The lovely Julia and I want to go up the zigzag path in Selborne. So very much looking forward to that. Lovely horses. How fantastic. Mark Johnny McLeod says, that's the idea. I shall make a video of the making of the dough and send it to you and the recipe to put on the screen. Then the video will follow. Excellent. Well, we look forward to receiving that. Thank you very much. Thank you to Barry, Stephen and Faden. Great to see Faden. I'm glad you're managing to get out in between all the being walled up in our houses. Linda Kane says, lots of my family hatched, matched and dispatched in Chalfont St Giles. I used to work at Chalfont St Giles up there in, it's just sort of north, isn't it? Where is it? It's near Gerrard's Cross, which I suppose is it Berkshire? And I used to work for the SSVC, the Services Sound and Vision Corporation, which was part of the BFBO, the British Forces Broadcasting Operation, or BFBS, maybe it was, British Forces Broadcasting Service. And this was a time before satellite television. I got this job working for the British Forces Television Service, which was the Sound and Vision, SSVC it was, Sound, I've just said it, and I can't remember what the acronym stands for. The Services Sound and Vision Corporation, thank you. Excuse me. And what they used to do in those days, when they had the troops, British troops stationed in Germany and Cyprus, before satellite was a thing, they would take programmes off air. They were allowed to do this. They had a thing with the BBC. They would take various programmes off air, package them up, and then rebroadcast them on an internal network to the forces television. And the children of the forces who were stationed in there would get children's television that was, again, repackaged. And they had this children's hour, and they would have things like Blue Peter and Magpie and various children's programmes which they would play in. And I used to do this kids show for them, which I came up with the idea. They wanted to show cartoons. So I said, well, why don't you have this mad character called Percy Peevely? And I had this mask with goggly eyes and this big nose and a wig. And I was Percy Peevely, who was in the basement of the Services Sound and Vision Corporation. And he would go, oh, hello, everybody. I'm Percy Peevely. Nice to see you. Hope you're all doing well. Ooh, it's very exciting, isn't it? Yeah. Now, on today's show, we've got lots of cartoons. We've got Danger Mouse. Oh, yes, Danger Mouse. And we've got, what's the one where he eats a banana? Banana Man. Yeah, that's that one. And each episode, this character, Percy Peevely, was trying to do different things. So one episode, he was trying to run a library, and he would do his library. Go, oh, hello, boys and girls. Yeah, running a library today. Yes, it's my Mr. Todd. There was this character called Mr. Todd who you never saw. He would ring up because I wanted somebody to play off, and there was nobody else. They barely paid me any money, but I came up with these silly ideas. And there was this character called Mr. Todd, and he would ring up, which actually was the producer of the show, who would record this down the phone. Oh, yes, Mr. Todd. Oh, yes, I will be playing all the cartoons in there. Don't you worry, Mr. Todd. But I'm just setting up the library, like you said. But he would set up this library, but he only had one book. He said, I've only got this library. It's a small library, a very small library, this library. I've only got one book. Oh, oblige. That was his catchphrase, oblige. It's funny, it's all coming back to me now. Oblige. Well, I've only got this one book. I can't remember what the book was now. And I've got these episodes. Well, I used to have these episodes on VHS tape, but I don't think I've got them now. Percy Peevely's World of Cartoons. We had 3 series of that. And on the 3rd series, we had a huge budget. He was based on Worthing Pier. And we'd spent 2 days, or was it 1 day? I can't remember. We filmed all the inserts for link number 3 on Worthing Pier. The rest was in the studio, but on the 3rd link of the programme would always be outside. So I had to quickly write this script that involved him being outside. We had fire going on. We had all sorts of... We had a train that he'd built, supposedly, but there were no tracks. Oh... Mr. Todd told me we need a new feature for the pier. And, well, oblige. I thought we could have a train. Yeah, a train. It'd be ever so nice. Oh, I could go on the train. It'd be so exciting. And then, of course, he said, but there's no track. Wait a minute, there's no track. How can you have a train? There's no track. No, oblige. And I had this silly mask on and this... It was great fun. Percy Peevely. Yeah, that's it. It was funny old days. Golly, I'm trying to think when that was. That was a long time ago. Percy Peevely's World of Cartoons. Percy Peevely's cartoon. It was like Percy Peevely's World of Cartoons, and then there was the next series was Percy Peevely's Cartoon World, and Percy Peevely's Cartoon Box or something. I can't remember. But yeah. All very good. Anyway, they were the days. Julia Hartley says, I've just checked the moon from my doorstep. Oh, apparently, have we got a full moon or something? Oh, Blige, I'm going to have to go and have a look at the moon now. It's ever so exciting, isn't it? Yeah, don't go away. I'll come straight back. It was very much like this show, really, actually, when I think of it, Percy Peevely. He was linking to different things. Only I was in the studio. They had an automatic camera that could be operated, and occasionally they would have one cameraman in there. It was all fairly professionally done. Anyway, enough of that gay banter. Let's go to Tottington Wood with Mike Dixon, who is there at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Good morning from Tottington Wood in Smaldall, West Sussex. Brought our dog Bella out for her morning walk. But this morning we've come out very early to witness the dawn chorus. And it's a bit scary in the woods this early, about 5:30. You can hear all the birds around us. It's kind of scary because there's just us and nobody else. We're just going out for our morning exercise that we're permitted. The woods are run by the Woodland Trust, of which my wife and I are members, and I've just seen a notice that you can become a Friends of Tottington Wood and help out with some of their conservation work, which I hope to join once the lockdown is lifted. I thought I'd just share it with you on the Vobes show. It's a very special sound, I think, the dawn chorus. And for us living in lockdown, just our permitted daily exercise, which I'm taking with our dog Bella. But this is a very beautiful, and it's got to be good for our mental health witnessing it. So I thought I'd share it with you this morning. It's beautiful, that tree, the large tree in front of us and the silhouette. And we heard pheasants, and you can hear chickens in the background. And there's dimmock and great tit, reed warblers we've heard calling. Very, very, very beautiful. Anyway, I thought I'd just share it with you. Now I'll hand you back to Richard in the studio, and we're going to head home for breakfast. Take care, keep safe, bye.
There we are. Thank you very much, Mike. Back to the studio indeed, and here I am. It was very nice. Sorry about that. There was a little bit of strange motion of the scene. You could see tiny little bit of the desk at the beginning of that. I do apologise. But yeah, lovely. Who's been out to see the Dawn Chorus recently? Well done, Mike. Good for the old neuroplasticity and mental stuff. So there we go. Hope you had a nice breakfast as well, by the way. Very nice to see the sunrise. One has to get up quite early now, don't you, to see the sunrise? Whereas in the winter, of course, you can get up late and still catch it. The sunrise in the wintertime comes up at about, 5 to 12 usually, and sets by about 10 past 12. Days are very short back then. I guess everybody's gone out to have a look at this pink moon. I did have a look at the at the comments there, and I gathered that it's a special pink moon that somebody's found on Google or whatever. Linda said someone had nicked it from Google. Something, I don't know what it was. Mary, actually, there are a few wispy strips of cloud making the supermoon look pleasantly mysterious from Lancing. So I don't know who's Mary. Mary, quite contrary. I haven't seen anyone called Mary. Have I missed somebody called Mary sneaking in through the back? Ron Langley says safe journey to Ireland. Robert Baxter, is he off to Ireland? What's he doing over in Ireland? And thanks for that. Peter May says, Richard, where's Guess the Image game gone? You haven't used your HD microscope at all yet. Well, we were hoping to go out and on our trip in the woods, and we had the microscope, the HD microscope. We were hoping to take that with us, but it looks like that trip's going to be cancelled because I think that was coming up in May, and we're very close to May. I'm supposed to have done some videos in Oxfordshire this week, or was it last week? That's been cancelled, so that's another one that's been cancelled. And yeah, we've got this cabin booked in the woods, the lovely Julia and I, but that's got to be cancelled now because we obviously can't go out. And that's when we were going to use the special gadget to do that. I didn't want to overexpose it on this show, but we were hoping to, take it in the wood and look at all sorts of things under the microscope. But yeah, no, that's very true. I will try and keep up on top of that. Mark Donny McLeod says, watching but can't hear our kid on the phone. Shall I end the show whilst everybody goes and looks at the moon? Obviously, I need to get a camera out and have a look at them. Maybe I should go and have a look at the moon. It's all very well everyone chat. I'm just going to go and have a look at the moon. Just for a moment, just talk amongst yourselves. Oh yeah, there's a moon in the sky. I think it's been there for quite a few thousand years, but it's probably something very special about it. But I gather there's this rather interesting internet program that's on that's going to show us the Andrew Norris moment fairly soon. No, I haven't had the hump. But before all of that, Nigel Sadler is out in one of the parks near Tunbridge. Nigel, what are you looking at?
Hello, Nigel Sadler here, and today I'm in Hayston Country Park looking at the birds, and particularly the Egyptian geese goslings that hatched about 6 or so weeks ago. And I'm here with Aaron. And here's something for Julia, little Maisie.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was just looking at pictures of the moon on my phone, seeing as I can't actually leave the studio. I don't know what people are on about them. It's very difficult when you're sitting here doing this and everyone's going, oh, go and have a look at the moon. Go and have a look at the moon. You're thinking, all right, let me know when you're back. Let me know when you're back. I'll don't worry about me and my bad back. I'll just sit here, wait till you're there. It's all right. I don't mind. I could have had a lie down tonight, I could have had the evening off. I could have done a whole load of things. But oh no, I thought, you know what? They need me. They need me. They need to be entertained. But actually, The moon. That'll do it. Tomorrow night, by the way, at 8 o'clock, there will be a webcam pointing at the moon. If the moon doesn't turn up, I'm sorry, that's all you're going to get. You're just going to get some clouds crossing the sky, a bit of sound effect of whatever the moon does. Maybe a man eating cheese. That's what it'll be. Are you all back yet? Wait a minute, there's a few of you still outside. Yeah. You've got the telescopes out, the binoculars, and... Don't worry, I'll just wait till you're all back. Don't worry about me. Wish I'd got marked on in my clouds. I could be making up some dough now. Let it to prove. 8 hours go by. Are they still looking at the moon? Oh yeah, they're still looking at the moon. I think the moon comes out every night, doesn't it? But somebody's gone up there from NASA with a little bit of red paint, mixed it with water and turned it pink and just sloshed it round, haven't they? You imagine it's a bit like the Forth Bridge. Somebody's up there gone, this white luminous paint that we normally put on the moon, we've run out, they've sent up the wrong kind of paint. Oh, don't worry about that, Raymond. Make sure you just slap it on. Oh, look, it's quite pink. Don't worry about it. Get to the end, would you? As soon as you get to the end, they'll send up the next lot. That'll be the white paint. I reckon that's what Kevin Hall does. He says he's a painter and decorator. He's got ladders, hasn't he? He's got ladders. I reckon he climbs up the ladders to the moon and he paints the moon in whatever paint. He couldn't get white paint. He told us that. He couldn't get the white paint. So he's actually painting it in something else. Yes, we've fathomed it all out, Mr. Hall. You called him Mr. Sadler then. You need to log out of Philip's account and sign into YouTube. Do I? Take a few minutes to do it. What do you mean? I have no idea what you mean. Linda, let's see Andrew's video. Let's see. Oh, here we are. This is where the let's see Andrew's video. Oh, suddenly you're interested now, aren't you? So the audience are telling me how to run my own show. That's it. Kevin Hall told me that I think we're going to have a Boris-free show. Oh, right. Okay. Whatever. Don't worry about me. You don't really need me. I'll just wheel. I can actually physically be wheeled on and off. Oh, not that that's very conducive, of course, but I can be wheeled on and off, you know. But we will. Thank you, Linda. We will get on with it. Yes, I know. We will get on with it. That's the last video of the night. The Andrew Norris moment, ladies and gentlemen. It is worth hanging around for, and thank you very much for coming in. The Andrew Norris moment, all the way from Croatia. Let's find out what lunacy, Andrew Norris, lunacy, see what I did there? What lunacy Andrew Norris has got lined up for us tonight.
In times like these, when we mustn't say the C word.
Zara, don't mention the C word.
When we are all facing great challenges, I find great comfort reflecting back on all those things that made Britain great. Our history, our heritage, our bold explorer, and our flag. Together, if we keep our resolve and stick to those principles of strength and discipline.
Zara, as you know, it's all about discipline. Wait.
Those principles that our country was founded upon.
Uzmi. Bravo.
We will get through these troubled times together and emerge the stronger and more compassionate than before. And so, we should raise our flag and feel proud.
Mom, if I were you, I wouldn't watch this.
Another piece of absolutely fantastic. He keeps excelling himself, that Andrew Norris. How does he do it? Why does he do it? We don't care as long as he keeps doing it. We love it. Well done, Andrew. Absolutely fantastic. Super duper. Well, that's all our videos there. We're coming rapidly to the end of the show. What am I looking forward to? Oh, I don't know why. I'm hovering my buttons there to turn something down, but I don't need to. Before we go, I'm just losing my voice now. Before we go, if anybody wants the last chance to call the Vobes, 0793 4746 790. You can ring up and tell me about the moon if you so wish. I'll give you a couple of minutes to make the call. Otherwise, that's it for tonight. Very nice to see you. Hope you're all doing well. We do love the videos, Mr. Norris. Keep them coming. Claire Leach has just arrived, saying, I'm sorry I'm late. No worries. You've just missed the one and only Mr. Norris, which is not a problem. And Judith says, fabulous, brilliant, Andrew. I can see the moon from where I'm sitting and it looks the same as usual, which is great. I don't know quite why everyone's gone exciting about it. I'm going to have to go outside and have a look at the moon, and I will do that in a few minutes if I can hobble there to the door. But thank you so much. If you want to call, this is the last chance. I'll give you a couple of more seconds. 0793 474 6790. But that's more or less it. Tomorrow morning I will carry on the reading of the English Journey by J.B. Priestley, which didn't do too well today. It's been a funny old day today. I started off with the Duff video. Oh, you can see my Duff video. The lamest video I've ever made will be out tomorrow at whatever time it goes out, and then I shall try and bring everything back up with the English Journey at 9 o'clock here on the Bald Explorer channel. Back here again at 8 o'clock in the evening, if you want to see me. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do a live in the afternoon. I'm not sure what the situation is, so we'll just play it by ear for the moment. But anyway, that's it. Thank you very much. I think we'll end the show there. It's been lovely to spend the time with you. Oh, look at that. I turned it off and somebody's ringing in. We'll find out who the last caller of the show is. Hello to you.
Hello, it's Ed Loud. Hello, Richard. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Ed Loud. How are you? How are you there in Greenwich?
Oh, not too bad.
Now tell me, before you go anywhere else, what is it about this sodding moon that everyone's just evacuated from the Vobes show to go and have a look at?
Well, I'm a bit confused. At the time, I was sticking my rear end out of the window, and then I heard all these things about it being big and pink, and I don't know, but I think NASA have got something to do with it.
Yes. So not Kevin Hall then?
No, not Kevin Hall. I'm sure he isn't as large as mine.
No, he's got a bigger moon than anybody, I think, Kevin. Or at least he thinks so. So what have you been up to today?
Well, I've been editing another video together and trying to correct some problems with sound. And I've come up with a solution, which is to use another phone to record the sound and the original phone for filming the video.
So you've got kind of two phones going at once?
Yes. So I'm going to give that a try and see how I get on. But until then, I'll just have to try and correct all the damage to my sound if I can, using Audacity. And
don't forget, when you're using the separate sound and separate vision, to somehow synchronise the two together with some kind of a clap or a visual thing and also an audio thing.
Yes, of course. In fact, I'm highly considering shaving all my hair off, so I might be able to slap my bald head. We shall see.
I was just looking. Yeah, no, that would be perfect. That's what I use. I've actually got a video called "How I Sync My Sound Up" on YouTube.
Yes, indeed. Yes, that's where I got the idea from.
Oh, right. There you go. I ought to replay that because I don't think people have seen that recently. There's another one that I want to put together. You know, in all my videos, there's these sequences where you see me or whoever walking towards the camera, or walking away from the camera.
Yes. Usually with a da 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 da.
That's it, with a little bit of funny music. Well, there's because people don't realise, or maybe realise, but they don't see, is all the times when I run back to the camera to turn the camera off and collect it again. And I did think there's a video there of just all those moments of running towards the camera, because, you know, I'll walk fairly sedately away as if I'm in deep contemplation looking at the scenery. And then once I think I've walked far enough, I've got to go back to get the camera before, you know, a bull treads on it, or a cyclist rides over it, or a car crushes it. And,
or where I live, some yob runs off with it.
Or some yob runs off with it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. So so you've been busy on the old editing suite.
Yes. I'm at the moment. I'm trying the same one you use, but the 16 version, not the 15 version.
Yeah, is it working on your PC?
Yeah, it's on my brother's laptop. It's working fine, but of course it's his laptop, so I won't get to use it very often. So most of the time I'm stuck with my PC, which every time I try and do something, it just dies. The poor thing. It's an 8-year-old processor, a very bottom of the range one. 2 gigs of RAM.
Oh my goodness!
No graphics card at all. No graphics card at all. I'm using Intel integrated graphics. So, but I was on a low budget at the time, and it did the job for a number of years. So
yes,
just pushed it all together myself and got on with it. It's a bit of a Frankenstein PC.
But it keeps you out of mischief the rest of the time, other than editing videos.
Yes. It's a bit of a well, it's a horrible process putting together videos on that PC. But on my brother's laptop, very good, and I just had to practice for the last few days and learn how the software works. So,
yes, it's quite.
Thanks to your videos, I had a good idea where to go and what to look for, thankfully.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I've used 15 because I would upgrade to 16. This is a bit technical to talk to everybody else. But for some reason it wasn't playing the videos. It wouldn't find the video. It would play the audio of the video, but just give me a black screen. I couldn't quite work out why. So I just stuck with 15 for the moment, and it does everything that I need it to do.
Well, I think 16's working on the old maxim that the audio is more important than the video.
Yeah. So everything comes out as if you're in a darkened room. Makes for great radio plays, apparently.
Well, yeah, I'm actually going to try filming in the dark tonight or tomorrow. I've got 2 videos planned, and I'm going to give you one a week, hopefully. But I do need to try filming in the dark because I'm going to do that ghostly, spooky story I was telling you about.
Oh, wonderful. That does sound very good. Nigel Sadler says, using your phone in voice recorder mode and makes an excellent narration recorder. Capture images on a GoPro and sound on your phone in the top pocket.
Oh, well, if I ever get a GoPro, I'll bear that in mind. But yes, definitely, I'll use
you could put the camera
mobile for sound capture. I think I'll get better results because the last 3 videos I've made, the sound has been been a massive problem. And
it's muffling the wind. It's the biggest issue.
Yes, yeah. I've even tried putting the microphone in my hair and under my beard just to see if it helped. But
no help, no joy.
The hair was surprisingly effective, but then you look like a bit of a Burke because you're walking around with,
wires
your microphone in your hair and, wires coming out of it.
Yes. I mean, one of the things I've got a tie clip microphone, and very often if it's a bit wind, even though it's got a wind gag on, it can still penetrate that and make a rumbling noise. So very often if I've got a jumper on like this, I'll clip it to my shirt and put the jumper over the top, and then the jumper just acts as one little extra buffer. And because my voice is quite close to it, it still comes over okay. On the bicycle, people ask me, they said, how are you doing this sound? You understand you're using a T strainer. And it's true. I had a T strainer. A T strainer is a sort of cup-shaped thing.
Yes.
Well, I had that.
I strangely have one in my hand. What a coincidence!
Well,
I'm in the kitchen as we speak.
Oh right. Well, on the bike, because I knew that I would be cycling and consequently going faster than walking, and therefore wind would be hitting, and I knew there'd be a wind noise issue. So what I did is I took my tie clip microphone. On the back of the T strainer, I haven't got it here. It's in the other room. I put a bit of gaffer tape. So that I could...
Oh, hang on, I'll lend you mine.
Oh, thanks.
You got that?
Yeah, that's lovely. So I would then clip the microphone onto the gaffer tape on the inside now of the T strainer in the sort of dome bit, and then I put a bit of tape over the front of the dome of the T strainer, the bottom of the T strainer, if you like, just a bit of tape over there to act as a buffer because the microphone is actually pointing up. So it's because it's pointing up, it will be pointing up because when I've got it suspended in front of me on a string around my neck underneath my jumper, the microphone pickup is actually facing up. So I didn't want any extra wind hitting the side of it. So that's what that purpose was. But the main purpose of the tea strainer, which is what I have yet to explain, is it acts as its own environment. So it's under my jumper, and because the microphone is a little bit further back from the end of the bottom of the tea strainer, I'm trying to explain this very badly, but it means that the wind hitting it doesn't penetrate into the little space in the inside of the tea strainer.
Yeah.
But audio sound frequencies do. So as I'm citing,
that sounds more like actually sounds like a sort of a singing microphone for if you're singing very loud and you have to take lots of deep breaths and you don't want your breath to be hitting the microphone. It's almost exactly the sort of filter they would use. So.
Yeah, well, it's really about putting it in a cage. It's just about putting it in a cage and then surrounding the cage with your fluffy stuff, so that the wind comes along. It is dispelled by the fluffy stuff, but any extra that comes in doesn't actually get into the cage, and the cage's atmosphere on the inside is a constant, which is why when you see these people with the big microphones on the booms and they've got these big fluffies, the fluffies are not right up against the microphone, they're actually in a cage.
Yes.
So it's and when I say it is a cage. It's a cage. So they're sitting in the cage, and it's got its own atmosphere. Then that the wind doesn't blow against the microphone.
I have considered sort of a make-do-amend approach myself, and
best way.
I've tried recording with a little microphone that plugs into my phone, and that was a bit better for avoiding the wind. My next step's going to be to cut the hairs off an old makeup brush. I'm going to pin them together before I cut them using a clothes peg, and then glue them onto a clip that I can attach and have them covering the microphone and see if that helps.
Oh, right, yeah.
I've tried experimenting with sponge, and that didn't work too well. So
again, these camera microphone, the camera or a phone mic. I'm holding one up so people can kind of get the idea. Is if you can plug in some microphones and they're quite reasonable, but the thing about wind is it hits the microphone, and even under the fluffies or with a sponge, it then hits that, and you still hear the rumble. So what ideally you need is a little cap that is not solid, like a little tea strainer,
Yes.
So a thimble, if you could get a thimble that had holes in it that you could glue onto the camera, you see, then you've created a little space of an atmosphere on the inside of that. Then you cover that with fluffy stuff.
I'm looking at my tea cage right now. You know, one of those little cages you put tea leaves into.
Yeah, that's it.
And
perfect. That would be perfect.
Yeah, I was just thinking that would be perfect.
Cover that in a little bit of, if you've got an old soft toy with fur on, you could cover that in that, so that dispels, so the wind doesn't hit it hard. That's what you're trying to prevent it. That will soften the blow that the wind hits it. But inside that little, that's a perfect thing. And if you've got your microphone, even better is if you can suspend the microphone in there on an elastic band. If you can suspend your microphone in there, it becomes completely detached. It won't hear the rumble of the thing, of the tea leaf thing. That's perfect. That would be work, and the audio would still get in because it's got holes in it.
Yeah, and it's cost me next to nothing as well, which is a big issue for me at the moment. Obviously, just trying to get by on next to nothing and make videos with a dodgy old phone that's 5 years old, and it is doable with a little bit of thinking. It is more than doable. So now every time someone tells me, I can't make a video, I haven't got the equipment, I'm kind of thinking, well, no, you can. It takes a bit longer and a bit of patience, but you can do it if you want it.
Yes,
and I think that's something important for everyone, even if they just want to try their hand at it. Don't sit there thinking you need all the best equipment. You can do it with an 8-year-old PC.
I remember being a member of an old cine club many years ago, and video had just came in, and all the people who had money were buying all these wonderful video cameras, and the people who didn't have money still had the old cine cameras, and then they would have film night, and the people who had these magnificent, amazing new wonderful £1,000 worth of video cameras would show their films, and they were the boringest, most bland thing, holiday films and all this. And the ones who had basically next to nothing, they had the most interesting. They were passionate about the subject they did. They knew how to operate their cameras, and they weren't spending their money just on any old, And it's the same old thing all over the time. People think they can take great photographs by buying the most expensive camera, only to find they've just got the same mediocre photographs they've always taken.
Yeah, it's very true. I noticed the same thing when I was doing audio editing. You could be sitting there with an old tape deck and, you've only got 2 channels, maybe 4 at a push. And you can do some amazing things with that if you get creative and you see a problem and you try and work around it, and you go away, you have a cup of tea, you think about the problem. And 9 times out of 10, the problem's not insurmountable. You can always work around it. And even with tape, you can, with no training, you can add some amazing effects. I remember I was about 13, 14, and we had this thing that only had 8 tracks that you could put into it. But it was more than enough, and I used to do things like reverse echo just by taking the tape off, turning the tape around, and adding the echo that way.
Oh, right, yes.
And, then just putting the tape back the right way, and, the kids would say, oh, how did you do that? And, well, I sat down and thought about the problem, and I didn't have sound editing stuff on PC and things like that to use, but that's the fun of it. That is what's so enjoyable, is tinkering around.
Especially when you crack a problem and you think, how am I going to do that? And then it works, or it sort of works, and you get the idea. It makes so much more fun. Brilliant stuff, Ed. I'm going to go now because it's 9:30, time for bed, as Zebedee once said. But,
yes, well, I didn't mean to keep you so long, but thank you, Richard. I've enjoyed the shows and I've enjoyed speaking with you.
Well, it's always a joy. When this is over, I'm coming up to have a cup of coffee in Greenwich with you.
Fantastic. I'll look forward to that.
Yeah. Well, you've just got to get through this nightmare first.
Yes, definitely. And I'm sure we will.
I'm sure we will. Good luck. Take care.
Good luck.
Thanks
Take
for
care,
calling
Richard. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. There we are, the lovely Ed Loud finishing off today's show. Fantastic, nice conversation. Sorry, a bit self-indulgent there, talking about how to make a microphone windproof. But there we are, the dreamy days of playing with reel-to-reel tape decks. Oh, yes, those wonderful days where you could vary speed them and get the old EMI tape deck out and a razor blade and chop it and stick it back together again. It was great fun. And in fact, I got loads of stuff just in that corner, but you can't see it, which is just as well. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Lovely to hear you, and thanks for all the looking at the moon. That was superb. And sending in the videos. Great stuff. Until tomorrow, then. Back again on the Vobes Show tomorrow night at 8. Other stuff in the day. But until then, thank you so much for watching. It's been so fun. And I will see you again. Take care, and good night all. Good night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.